Hello and welcome to this edition of Talk Vietnam. Today you'll get a great opportunity to meet with a distinguished guest, His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa from India. His Holiness has been known the worldwide over as being a monk of wisdom, love, and action. Now, this is the fourth time Vietnam has had the great honor to welcome His Holiness to the country after previous visits in 2007, 2008, and then 2010. His Holiness has received the warm welcome of monks, nuns, and Buddhist dignitaries as well as followers here in the country on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the United Buddhist Sangha of Vietnam. Now it is my very honor to welcome His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa to our studio today.
His Holiness the Gyalwang Drukpa is the spiritual head of the 1,000-year-old Drukpa order based in the Himalayas region, with around 1,000 monastic centers and millions of followers worldwide. His Holiness' mission is to promote universal harmony and inner peace by integrating the spiritual tenets of love and appreciation into daily life. His work includes promoting gender equality, establishing educational institutes, medical clinics, and medication centers. The Gyalwang Drukpa is also dedicated to preserving heritage, tradition, and cultural treasures of the Himalayas. He has been praised for a range of initiatives on environmental protection. His Holiness was given the United Nations Award for Millennium Development Goals in 2010 in recognition of his efforts in making the world greener and cleaner.
Welcome, Your Holiness, to Vietnam Television. Thank you very much. It is our great honor once again to welcome you here at Talk Vietnam, to welcome you to our country and to Vietnam Television in particular. Sir, may I ask you, Your Holiness, what is the lucky karmic that brought you to Vietnam today?
So the relationship between the Vietnamese and the Vietnamese followers, and also to me and to my followers. I think there is such a great karma that we have accumulated already quite a lot, long time ago, I think, and lives that we went through. We as a Buddhist, we believe the previous life and then also, the past and present and future lives. So we certainly have created a great karma, but I think not only that, I think I can feel in this life also that special connection that we have built between the Vietnamese people, Vietnam country, even the government and all these firms in here, and myself. And then, of course, through myself, of course, being interested in Vietnam and the Vietnamese followers, of course, my followers also, they really spontaneously, they have a very great connection with that, so I'm very happy about it.
And we are very honored that there is this connection between the Drukpa lineage and Vietnam, and it's getting closer and greater by the day. And now, before we talk more about that connection, let us talk about the Drukpa lineage. Can you tell us briefly about your life and the connection to the Drukpa lineage?
Actually, the Pandit, or a great learned and scholar and great yogi as well, known as Naropa, is a great yogi, Naropa, a very great saint who came in India and who was managed to really bestow a lot of blessings and teachings across the world. So, of course, he sort of taught kind of a unique teaching for the rest of the world, and also for the benefit of all sentient beings. And ever since then, our lineage was really sort of starting to flourish, and also starting to be recognized by the people of the world. But especially 800 years ago, That was 1,000 years ago, you know. But the 800 years ago, there was a yogi known as Tsangpa Gyare, and he especially sort of pronounced the highly sort of highlighted this lineage as a dragon lineage, you know. Until then, the lineage was not known as a dragon, but then ever since then, it was known as a dragon, because when he sort of first found the foundation, the temples, and the place where he could manage to sort of teach and spread the lineage and the teachings and the beneficial activities, he saw a nine dragon flying, nine dragon lying on that piece of land. And then, of course, when they came to sort of inaugurate the land, that time the dragon flew in the sky and thundered several times. Of course, people say sometimes 9 times, but I don't know specific kind of a number. It was
sort of the symbol.
Yes. So the symbol is, of course, the love and the activities of love, because we believe that the dragon symbolizes the love, symbolizes the prosperity, and symbolizes the peace. So this is what we say and we believe. I guess it is because of that he saw 9 dragons lying down on that piece of land, which is very rare actually.
Exactly.
So ever since then the lineage was known as a dragon.
As I understand, the concept of love and wisdom prevail very much in your talks and your activities. What is your definition of love?
My definition of love is activities. I say when compassion activates into our daily life, that is love. If you don't activate the compassion mainly it is theoretical practices. It's just a theoretical, very much so.
Exactly.
So when you cultivate, when you manage to cultivate the sense of compassion and all these things, once you really cultivate very nicely, then it comes in the action, not only just a cultivation, but the action. When it comes to an action, means like interact with the people, with the beings, and with the nature, and help to sort of get rid of all the problems. That is the time that I call it is love.
Exactly. So it is not just enough to keep love in your heart or your mind, but you must cultivate on that love so that hence you have wisdom, love, and action.
That's it.
So what about wisdom, Your Holiness?
Wisdom, to my understanding, is just a greater version of understanding, actually. It is an understanding like I understand that I have a water in my glass. That is my understanding. That is the smaller version of wisdom. But of course, when it comes to a greater version of understanding, it is a wisdom. I call it a greater version of wisdom. I mean, greater version of understanding is the wisdom, actually. Wisdom is a kind of a terminology, kind of a special terminology that is designed for a greater version of understanding.
Yes. So a big part of your activity, sir, is making sure that love and wisdom is cultivated into action.
That's it.
Let's talk about those actions. We know that one of the main activities that you promote, or you very much promote gender equality, and you have built many memories throughout Asia. Could you tell us more about this? Why is gender equality center to your activities?
As you know, of course, the activities, when you talk about putting love into an action, there are many versions and many sort of aspects that you have to look into. There are heaps of it, many thousands of it. But of course I have to choose, very limited kind of, 4 or 5, because my life is too short. So I was choosing several of these. I say it's a kind of a 5 to 6, I don't remember exactly, and it's under an umbrella called Live to Love. That is an activities that I call it like that. It's just a name. But of course it comes in a kind of a different actions, different aspects of actions. So one of these important action or to be fulfilled, wishes to be fulfilled, is of course gender equality. But that is not the one. But then main thing is the education. Yes. That is what you can call it wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah, the wisdom needs to be created by wisdom, the development of education.
The education.
That's it. If you don't have an education, then of course the smaller version of wisdom is always there, because I know water is in my glass. There is a flower. There's you and me talking here. All wisdom, of course, but a very small, very sort of like a small scale. So we need to develop that kind of a skill that we have, need to be greater. So in order to do that, the education is most important. For example, gender equality is very much depends on the education. Because of lack of education, because of the women's quality, I mean, women's great quality that women has, actually, potentially. But we, because of the lack of education, we don't respect the women. We don't respect the fact that the woman has the ability. It doesn't mean that man doesn't have it. Man has it equally. But woman has also. So why not? Women also should be respected. So that is the thing. But we don't respect. Why? Because we have a lack of education in that respect. So therefore education needs to really be built.
Talking about education within the field of gender equality, I understand that you have brought Vietnamese martial arts back to nunneries in Nepal to teach to the Buddhist nuns there. So in the following part, we have a short clip from BBC talking about this effort in order to promote gender equality through education. Let's have a look.
Kung Fu is rare here in Ladakh, high in the Indian Himalayas. And these Kung Fu fighters, more unusual still. Not Buddhist monks, but nuns.
Kung Fu helps us concentrate when we meditate. That's why we are so keen on it. Secondly, it keeps us healthy and strong.
Kunzang and her friends belong to the Drukpa sect of Buddhism. Nuns have been forbidden from performing Kung Fu for centuries. But 2 years ago, the Drukpa's leader lifted the ban.
The nuns, they have to have a little bit of, defense, to protect themselves from the attack from the rest of the world.
Now the nuns had the chance of a new breakthrough. The dragon dance evokes the very origins of the Drukpa lineage. Dragons can be made up of 50 dancers. Even with 10, coordinating is tough.
The most difficult step is to run along with the dragon. Since the dragon dance requires 10 people to move it, it becomes very difficult because all the 10 people have to move together at the same time.
The women of Ladakh finally entrusted with ancient crafts and secrets.
In today's dance, the nuns were doing very well. They have been really trying very hard. With this level of performance and with more practice before the annual Drukpa Council, there'll be a big success.
Buddhism has an image of being purely spiritual. But His Holiness has taken the Drukpas in a fresh direction. Under him, they've been united in believing they should engage with the world and give women equal opportunities.
We've just seen here in this report, young Buddhist nuns from the 1,000-year-old Drukpa Buddhist sect are taught martial arts by their Vietnamese masters. This is very much surprise and also an honor for Vietnamese people. Could you please share with us more about this?
So speaking about martial arts, there are many different the martial arts, I think, in Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, etc., and Vietnamese. And I don't really know all the details, but as I said before, we usually have a very good karmic connection between the Vietnamese and myself. So of course I prefer sentimentally and emotionally that to have a Vietnamese master, and that's the reason we had a very nice, because of his kindness and also his generosity, because he really he really gives his time and effort to teach, and also not only just to teach but very patiently, you know, tolerantly. So he was very, very kind, not only just this year but the many years ago he started to sort of teach, and also he will, we hope that he will be able to teach again and again, time to time, until we wear the yellow belt.
Until we advance to that level. Can you share with us, Your Holiness, what are some of the benefits that has been brought to the nuns through them learning martial arts?
I don't really know in details, you know, but of course from external point of view, I definitely started to seeing the confidence in them, very much so, because until then I didn't really see that much of confidence in the nuns, and anyway the women practitioners. As usual, we have been suppressing them quite a long time, let's say many hundreds of years. We have not been respecting them, that they have a quality, what do you call that, quality to sort of like come out and do such things. And so therefore we have been suppressing, so they have been suppressing themselves too, not only we but they themselves, culturally as well as of course everything. So this is the reason why they don't really have a confidence in doing anything, not only martial arts, but they don't do anything except washing and doing domestic.
Very reserved.
That's it, very domestic things, but they can't really come out because they are not respected. But now, because of my activities and Live to Love and my sort of view, my view is to really be educating the whole world that there is a possibility, not only just in general, but in the women also. We have a very big potential that they can come out and serve the beings.
It was hardly easy to bring about the change, but His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa has integrated women into the faith with rights equal to man. Drukpa nuns are all more delighted about the benefits they can enjoy.
We do every morning 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 2 hours every morning we practicing Kung Fu. It is very useful for our soul. And it is very useful for practice and meditation also. And I think we can do help to all the sentient beings and all the girls, women, and ladies who think that ladies cannot do anything. And some people think that ladies should stay behind of the men. No, so I think I can do leader of all women by the practice of Kung Fu.
Yeah, we feel very confident. Yeah, so we can now just we have started. If we can wear it perfectly, so we can protect ourselves and all sentient beings also. Yeah, that's perfect.
We really feel happy because we all are here as a gender equality. So we practice everything in an equality way. We learn and we get a support from everyone, and that really makes us feel happy. And especially we work as a gender equality. That makes us feel very happy.
Now, as the spiritual leader of the Drukpa lineage, His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa has organized many of the enlightenment activities. Among those, mostly are activities concerning environmental protection, as His Holiness has mentioned early before. In 2010, the United Nations presented His Holiness with the United Nations Millennium Development Goal Award in recognition of his contribution to environmental protection. We'll have a look at that in the following.
In 2009, His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa, together with over 1,000 monks and nuns, and residents from nearby areas, spent 3 months trekking through difficult terrain of the Himalayas, covering a distance of 400 kilometers. The long march, or Padayatra, was undertaken to promote awareness about the ecological problems plaguing the Himalayan region. Participants were assigned the task of cleaning the area, both remote and populated, of all the rubbish and litter. In all, the group managed to collect a total of 980 kilograms of waste. His Holiness also undertook a program to plant over 1 million trees to save the environment in Changa, a village in Ladakh of India that was severely eroded by a series of cloud bursts.
On the 10th of October 2010, or simply 10-10-10, at exactly 10 o'clock, 10 minutes and 10 seconds, at the village of Changa in Hemis, Ladakhis jointly broke the Guinness World Records for the most trees planted simultaneously. 9,313 people from different religions and cultures came together to plant 50,033 saplings in 33 minutes 25 seconds.
I'm lost for words at your achievement today.
For all of his efforts, His Holiness has been featured in the world media as the monk with modern mind and mission.
Your Holiness, you have been praised as a monk with a modern mind and mission, and also in some places as a green guru because of your contribution to environmental protection, as we've just seen. I know annual activity is you lead a long march across the rugged terrain of the Himalayas in order to pick up waste and trash. Can you please tell us more about this annual activity?
Again, it goes back to the education, but the education has to promote from a different point of view. It's not only just going to school and read books and learn from the blackboard. The education that I am trying to do is, of course, we have to inspire people. We have to give them understanding, wisdom, as you said. The fact that we have the possibility, we have the potential. So that why not we do some contribution to the world. In a way, life is very long, but in another way, it's not very long, very short. You know? Exactly. So that the period that you are in this world, you might as well contribute something wonderful, which you can. You know, you have a great potential, so why not? So please do it. You know, this is what I always think, and it's possible also. So therefore, for example, what you said is like collecting trash and all these things, and walking pilgrimage and all these things across a lot of mountains and valley, and with over 700 people, and had lots of difficulties. Almost like we are facing with a life. We were definitely, but we were very happy. We all, not only me, but all of us. We were very happy to be able to do that, so that even though we cannot do that much by ourselves, but we can promote an example so that the people will follow, or people will at least understand and raise their wisdom. And then the wisdom will lead the compassion and love and activities to help beings practically, not only just a meditative and theoretical.
Exactly. So these are very small actions but meaningful in each of everyone's life. And I believe, as you said, Your Holiness, education promotes action, and again, action is education.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. It's a really, yes, you said it correctly.
It's a whole cycle.
It's a whole cycle, yes, right.
To promote all of those three ideas. Now, other than promoting the concept of a cleaner and greener world and promoting action in order to promote a cleaner and greener world, what other messages do you wish people here in this world to obtain?
To live with great love. That's all I would say in a very short sort of form, or the abbreviation I would say is live with love. So I'm putting it into a live to love, but it is live with love. Because if I may elaborate a little bit, what really it means is that we have to live anyway. This is what I said. We have to live. We cannot escape the reality. The reality is living in this world, no matter what sort of level, what sort of quality, what sort of work that you may be doing, what sort of family that you want to have or you have already, but you live in this world. So that period from, for example, 2000 so and so and dash, and then
Exactly.
That's what you often see. That's what you often see in the graveyard.
Yes.
So 2000 so and so, or one, the 19 something something dash, and the 2000 what?
The date of birth and then the date of death.
And there's a dash, nothing but dash. So that dash needs to be an active one in terms of creativity and contributing to the society.
Coming to Vietnam this time, you have a schedule full of collective talks, initiations, as well as rituals to pray for peace and prosperity. Could you please brief us a little bit on these activities, Your Holiness?
Actually, Vietnamese, as you know, that Vietnamese are very, very, very religious-minded, which is very good. Even though people know that I'm not very fond of religion, I'm fond of cultivating the education and try to promote their understanding and wisdom so that they will act, not only just a wish and pray. Of course, praying is very, very important because praying is an aspiration. You have to aspirate, you have to have an aspirational mind of enlightenment or whatever. So you have to have an aspirational mind. Not only aspiration, but you have to have an inspiration also.
Exactly.
You have to be inspired so that you will be able to sort of then get into the practice.
Yes.
So of course, inspiration or aspiration, both are very much needed. So there's no doubt about it. And so therefore, religion is very much connected, well connected. So this is the reason why I also feel that such kind of ceremonies, such as praying for the people who left this world, but they may be somewhere definitely in this world. So we have to really help them so that they can also be helping us. So we are like a giving and taking, So it's not a one-way traffic anyway,
Exactly.
The traffic is always comes back. So we have to think about that. So in order to have a peaceful prosperity and also the a harmonious living for all of us who are remaining in this world or this country. But most important thing you have to understand, to remember, is really to raise their education. It is very important so that the life quality will be deeply transformed.
Yes. Yes, Your Holiness, so these dharmas and talks and also rituals and ceremonies are part of a spiritual base in order to also promote people to take action, and also a way for them to stay away from the daily stresses of daily life, which we'll talk about later on. In the next part, a VTV correspondent had the very honor of joining into one of these Dharma talks and ceremonies, and we'll get to see in detail in the following part.
In his fourth visit to Vietnam, His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa also visited Phu My Pagoda of Tichen complex, considered by many an indispensable part of any visit to Vietnam. Thousands of followers came along to attend initiations on one of the most sacred mountains in Vietnam. Some traveled from thousands of miles away in search of what they call the ultimate happiness.
In the Drukpa lineage, Holiness promotes all the time the happiness in the sense of appreciating the life and exchange with the nature and each other, and just enjoy as it is, I guess, and be acting in that sense, if possible, to help others too, if it's possible. I think that is the source of happiness, if I understood well.
Khi mình có ý niệm muốn giúp đỡ ai thì trước tiên là mình có cái ý niệm trước, và sau đó cái ý niệm đó nó rất là mạnh mẽ và nó làm cho thành hành động để mà mình giúp đỡ, là trước hết là cho cái bản thân mình và sau đó là cho gia đình rồi cho xã hội.
After the Rivo sang chort, a 5 purification practice, His Holiness gave a short teaching to the devotees. Change mentality, transform behavior, and be friendly to all beings of the world were some of the key elements of the prescription for happiness. Joining prayers is good, but not good enough. Everyone is recommended to take the message to become a kinder person.
Song song với cái việc tu tập tình yêu thương, phát triển trí tuệ, thì các đệ tử của Drukpa trên toàn cầu cũng thực hiện những cái thiện hạnh, để áp dụng những cái giáo pháp của Đức Phật để truyền tải vào đời sống, để làm cho cái cuộc sống tốt hơn và có một cái xã hội được an bình và được tốt hơn.
According to Buddhist history in Vietnam by Most Venerable Dr. Lê Mạnh Thát, Tế Thiện is the cradle of Vietnam's Buddhism. Buddhism first came to Vietnam from India under the King Asuka dynasty in the 3rd century AD, and this was also the place where the first Nang Sangha was established by the followers of the king's princess. Together with His Holiness, the 108 nuns in the Sangha from India feel a kinship with the nuns in Tế Thiện.
In Tế Thiện, it's like staying in a retreat. It's very beautiful, and like nuns work so hard. They are like making houses by themselves. It's very difficult, and they have made it so nicely. We went around all the places, like all the pagodas here. Like their pagoda, I think, is the best one here.
Mỗi lần Ngài đến đây thì Ngài truyền cảm hứng, truyền năng lực để cho các sư thêm cái sức tinh tiến tu hành, để có thể trau dồi cái giới hạnh, và có thể sau này đem những cái thông điệp về tình yêu thương và sự hiểu biết để chia sẻ đối với tất cả mọi người.
A lot of practitioners joining the ceremony today have learned an important lesson. The practice of religion only takes effect if we apply the teaching into the daily life to liberate oneself from their own sufferings.
Now, sir, thousands of Vietnamese people have had the honor of joining in these Dharma talks and ceremonies. And I believe not only for those Vietnamese people, but for everyone across the world, the goal of finding true happiness is always somehow hovering in their mind. How do you define happiness, and what do you think should be done in order to achieve it?
There is a short-term and long-term happiness. There's a different, two different major difference of happiness if you define into two. So of course, short-term happiness is something that we respect, of course, short-term happiness, but of course, it's not the happiness that we're really looking for. Our happiness is kind of a long-term that we are really looking for. So for that reason, we need again education, and it's a kind of long winding also to reach this kind of level of understanding. It needs a lot of time, a lot of effort, but short term or maybe just temporarily, the religion is a very nice, skillful method. Religious method is a skillful method to give you a ground that you can sort of rely on. So it's like somebody you have to lean on. It's not only a religion, you know?
Yes, exactly.
But of course, usually, for example, I rely on drinking water, for example, you know? If you don't drink water, you wouldn't survive. So therefore, I rely on the drinking water. So the water is my religion, because you just rely on the water. Same thing, you know, if you have a medicine or something like that you have to eat all the time so that you will survive. So that is your religion, I would believe that way. And your office work, like your career, is your religion, because you have to do it every day. So that will survive. That is a survival thing. So that is a religion.
Whatever it is that matters to you the most, that you need on a daily basis, to be your religion.
Yes.
Religion shouldn't be in a context that is quite misunderstood or anything too serious. But
That's it. Religion should not be taken as a fanaticism. As long as the religion is taken in a way that is a method, skillful method to make you peace, make you understand, make you happy, that itself is the limit of the religion that can go, you know, for. So that you have to understand. So religion is something that you have to know how to handle it. If you handle the religion very nicely, then religion is a great method to make you happy. But that is temporarily happy.
Yes.
Temporarily happy.
How about long-term happiness?
Long-term happiness is only from spirituality. It has to be spirituality. And religion is maybe coming along the path of the spirituality, but spirituality is something that has to do with your own inner development, you know, like inside. It is only your inside that needs to be transformed, so that externally everything is the same, remaining as the same as before, but your world, inside world, the world that you have inside is wonderful. It has already transformed. So maybe everybody is having a little bit of trouble, but you are not going to be having any trouble. Why? Because your concept is changed. Concept of this world is transformed. For example, you will not get angry. You will get less angry because of the development of spirituality. Even though some people or some beings or something is going very much against you, but you will not care that much, because you have developed the spirituality within yourself. So you angry less, you fussy less, and your ego functions less. So therefore your individual life is permanently happy. No matter whatever the condition happens, you need to really know the importance of the permanent happiness, which is the spirituality. That is, of course, comes back to the wisdom and love, compassion, and action.
Now, Your Holiness, many of the followers, I believe, here present in this room, and people who know you worldwide over, are very admirative of you for the bright smile you always carry on your face, like right now. And it's very inspirational to people around the world. How do you do it?
That's maybe a karma. Maybe karma. I don't do it, you know. Anything that you do fabricatedly, you know, if you purposely you do something, I think that doesn't work that well.
Yes.
But it is spontaneous and something that maybe I am carrying from 1,000 years ago up until now. The lineage was 1,000-year-old, so I think I'm carrying that sort of a capability. I don't know, whatever.
That positive
maybe
energy.
it is there. I don't know.
Very optimistic.
I have no idea what to say about that. But of course, many people say that. I appreciate that, the fact that they are recognizing it, and also they're giving me a lot of credit for that. So I'm very happy about it. But I don't really have words to say about that.
It's a source of inspiration for many people, I must say. I'm sure everyone is very curious have you ever experienced moments where you've been wavered or disappointed?
Oh yeah, quite a bit, quite a lot.
How do you get through this?
You know, when people don't get the message. But this is also not the people's fault, it's my fault. Actually, I shouldn't have that much of expectation. But I have a very great expectation from some people, few like my own close student. I have a great expectation that they will kind of be a flagship, you know, and they will be the best in the world. But then when they act not as well as what I wish them to be, then it's a very disappointing. But that is my fault, not their fault. You know, I shouldn't be expecting that much. I should be really like a force. I should be like a, how do you say, keep the relationship very smoothly, and let them to follow what they can do. They will have their own rhythm. So I should be happy what they are offering. But sometimes, you know, because of my expectation getting too high.
And I think for any teacher, anyone who are giving teachings, a big part is having these expectations, because you always want to improve your teachings, and you always want to improve the quality of what your students will receive and what your students will take action. So
that's true.
It's part of the whole process.
Yeah, it's chicken and eggs.
Exactly. You don't know which one went first.
Which one comes first.
For many years, His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa has spared no effort to put thinking into practice. Unconventional in more ways than one, he doesn't merely preach. The thoroughly modern monk also blogs on his own website, and it may not long before he starts tutoring as well. On his website at www.drukpa.org, His Holiness has published many posts to share with readers his ideas for achieving the ultimate happiness. And in a post he published nearly a week after visiting Vietnam, His Holiness expressed his heartfelt emotion to the warm welcome of the Vietnamese people and his belief that happiness stems from harmony and understanding. His Holiness has also published many books instrumental in spreading key message of live to love, or as he said, anything done with genuine thought of selflessness will always make you happy and will also be an accumulation of positive karma. Among a collection of books His Holiness released on the occasion of the 4th visit to Vietnam, Walking an Uncommon Path is highly recommended for anyone who's seeking the answer for true happiness.
We know that you recently published a publication called Walking an Uncommon Path. And in this book, we've heard that you find very interesting advice on dealing with life, particularly with stress. We talked about this early on. Could you share with us, I mean, stress is such a big part of people living day-to-day life. How do you deal with stress?
Again, it goes back to the expectation. It's like myself. When I have an expectation on somebody else, and he or she is not really fulfilling that expectation as much as I want, then I definitely have a great stress. I mean, the great sort of
disappointment.
Disappointment, and the disappointment becomes stressful. You know, it just comes in one family, I think. So it's a stress comes from that kind of expectation. I always say that expectation should be there, but should not be phonetically there. It's the same thing. Religion should be practiced, but should not be phonetically. So same thing, that the expectation definitely should be there. You have to be expecting to get a job. You have to be expecting to get a better life, better family, better wife, better husbands, and all these things. And I don't know, whatever. I mean, you have to expect, but not phonetically. You have to give a nature also to have a bit of power, you know, to go its own way.
Yes.
You can't really think that 100% you have to control everything. So expectation is really the cause of the stress. So I think what I would say for the people who are really stressed, they don't have to change their lifestyle, but they have to change the inside. The expectation should really minimized, so that the very life that they are in, they don't have to change. The life will change by itself, automatically, the color of it.
Particularly, if you change your inside, then your rhythm outside will work with whatever
That's it.
It is
We'll
that's
go
inside.
accordingly. Yes, you're right.
So that there's no stress anymore.
His Holiness Gyalwang Drukpa has visited much of the country. One of his favorite destinations is Ha Long Bay, where His Holiness was captivated by its beauty and mythology. Legend has it that a family of dragon, or Drukpa, in a monk's native tongue, that helped the Vietnamese defend their motherland, spread out jewels and jades, which turned into hundreds of steep islands that dot the bay. Later, the mother dragon and her children decided to reside here, giving it the name Ha Long, or the Bay of Descending Dragon. This tale seems to have foretold the connection of the Vietnamese and the Drukpa, or dragon lineage. In Ha Long Bay, His Holiness and his followers release many captured fish back into the wild, a life-affirming ritual to pray for peace and prosperity for Vietnam.
Now we know that through your actions here, why you are known as the Guru of Action. Now, while the whole world has been voting and supporting Vietnam with the Ha Long Bay, as it is in this race to become one of the world's 7 natural wonders, you've come to Ha Long Bay in order for a fish releasing ceremony. Could you please tell us about this ceremony?
First of all, to my understanding, the Ha Long Bay is a very much historical place, and it is known as like a place where dragon risen or something like that.
Yes, the name.
The name.
The name means the dragon has landed. So in the terrain, it looks like dragons have landed onto the water.
Oh, something like that.
Yeah.
It was very inspiring. Despite of course, beautiful sceneries, and I like that sort of scenery with the hill, little bit of small mountains. I wouldn't call it mountain, but it's like a hill, and then the water, and all these things. I think elements. It's a beautiful elements, but that's not the issue. But the issue is, of course, the history. the background. It's a very, very nice. And it's a very specially connected, well connected with my lineage.
Yes, dragons.
Yeah, dragon, yes.
And also Hanoi, the old name of Hanoi is Thăng Long, which means
Thăng
rising dragon.
Rising dragon,
so
yes.
Perhaps there's a karmic connection that you come to Thăng Long, the rising dragon, and then you come to Hat Long, which is the dragon who has descended onto the land.
That's it.
And you're from the Drukpa lineage,
yes,
which is the dragon lineage.
Comes in the dragon lens.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. So maybe it's really, I'm not fanatic about these things, you know. Okay, again, I don't really have any sort of expectation or fanaticism about this. But of course, it's a very interesting history and interesting connection. And why not? We build something out of it. Yes. So therefore, I'm very excited to go back again there. And fish releasing, of course, it's generally very good deeds to give life to others, you know, instead of taking lives of others. Giving life is a symbolically great thing to do for the country and for the peoples of the Vietnam and peoples in the world.
Now, after the second trip that His Holiness came to Vietnam, which was in, as we said, 2008, the Drukpa publication produced a documentary named The Land of a Dragon, which goes back to the symbol of the dragon again. So let's have a look at a short clip of this documentary.
Since time immemorial, the dragon has been the most recognized symbol of monarchy and kingship in Asia. In Vietnam, celestial dragons play a very important role in the history, myths and legends. According to ancient myth, Vietnamese are direct descendants of the dragon emperor Lac Long Quan and the mountain fairy Ao Co. Their eldest son, Emperor Hong Vuong, established the Hong Bang dynasty, which ruled Vietnam from 2880 BCE to 258 BCE. Later, in 10,010 CE, Emperor Li Tai To picked the place Thăng Long, which means ascending dragon, situated within present-day Hanoi as the capital of Vietnam, after a vision of a golden dragon ascending from the Red River.
So the Land of the Dragon was produced by Drukpa publication. Could you please share with us more in details what this this documentary was about?
Basically, we using words of dragon, name of the dragon, but we really basically we want to introduce how important compassion to be practiced along the path of the day-to-day life. No matter what sort of life you have, doesn't matter. You may be having a very high sort of profile life, or maybe a low profile life, or maybe a very poor. Doesn't matter, life is life. It's a precious thing, and it needs to be appreciated. So appreciation, what I'm talking about, is compassion. Itself is a compassion, and symbolizes by the dragon, and symbolizes by the lineage of ourselves. And this is the lineage, means the lineage of what? Lineage of practice, lineage of appreciation, lineage of activities.
Let's go back now to your connection with Vietnam, the connection between the Drukpa lineage and Vietnam. As we said from the beginning, and there's a karmic connection. There's a reason why you're back here, Your Holiness, the fourth time, and it just expresses the sentiments that you have for our land and our people, and it is a great honor, again, for Vietnam to have that honor. What would you say to people the world over watching, looking to come to Vietnam or is curious about Vietnam?
Let me say something that what I feel about the Vietnam and the Vietnamese. As you know, that I have been visiting many places, yes, from 17 years old till today. But I have a special connection or special feeling that it's developed between the Vietnamese and myself. It's not only Buddhist way of saying, you know, like a karmic relationship. But it's not only that. I think the effort, the structure, also is in a way that gives me a lot of rooms to talk, lots of rooms to sort of express my own sort of things, because it's a very much like a welcomed. It is very much open. The door is not need to be opened by myself. It is the people of the Vietnam that is already opened from the airport. You know, the people just comes and you know, the way that they welcome, the way they have a heart towards my my presence and also my lineage and the practice. I think it is a very unique, and not only the people but the government also over here. I would say that, you know, the Vietnamese, I think the people are very lucky to have very liberty kind of, you know, leader or whatever you may say. The government also is a very sort of like a opening and letting us to sort of like a click each other and work on the activities of Live to Love, for example. And this is very much the gift, I would say, for the people. And I hope that the other countries and the other nations also will copy, will have a same kind of openness, so that, you know, let the people of their own country to really appreciate what really the spirituality can give, can offer to them, to the people of the country. And when people of the country starts to improve their inside or their way of life, the country obviously will improve, will benefit, no doubt. If you want the country to be successful, to be a happy country, to be prosperity and all these things, first individual needs to be improved.
Exactly.
If they improved in their own understanding and on their wisdom, then the whole world collectively, the whole world and the whole country will be benefited.
Thank you very much, Your Holiness, for coming here to our studio to talk Vietnam. It is a great honor for Vietnam Television and Vietnam to welcome you here to our country. And I wish you, on behalf of Vietnam Television, on behalf of the people here, the very best of health, first and foremost, and the best of success in all of your endeavors and your efforts in improving people and making the world a better place.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.